All right, how's everybody doing today? Hotep, hey, this is Michael Imhotep, founder of the African History Network, host of the African History Network show. I'm a talk show host, researcher, lecturer, and writer. We should be live on Facebook Live and on YouTube. Okay, hope everybody's doing well today. It is Thursday, June 7th, 2018, and we are live today. All right. Thanks for all the birthday wishes today. Also, I've gotten almost 200 on my personal page on Facebook, Michael Imhotep on Facebook. So thanks for all the birthday wishes. All right. So we've got a news story that just broke a few hours ago that I want to talk about, and I wanted to spend some time researching it. So that's what delayed me in coming on. I was researching this story. Also, this involves Colin Kaepernick, right? So we just talked about Colin Kaepernick a couple of days ago. We know the Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles, refused to go to the White House for the traditional meeting with the president, right? And Colin Kaepernick came up then. Donald Trump accused the Philadelphia Eagles of not wanting to come because they disagreed with him on the national anthem and standing for the flag and things like this. But the Philadelphia Eagles did not, none of their players took a knee all of the 2017 football season. Okay. So we see that Donald Trump basically lied on the Philadelphia Eagles. And we saw that basically what it was, only about 10 of them or so, maybe less, were going to show up to the White House this past Tuesday. Donald Trump didn't want to stand there looking like an idiot, right? So he disinvited them, but most of them already said they weren't coming, okay? Well, now we have a story that came out today. We know that Colin Kaepernick has filed a lawsuit alleging collusion among NFL owners, right? So then we have this story coming from Yahoo Sports.com and other news outlets have picked it up, CNN and New York Daily News, that it's expected that Colin Kaepernick's attorneys are going to subpoena Donald Trump as well as Vice President Mike Pence in a lawsuit, okay, alleging collusion and also talking about the involvement of Trump putting pressure on NFL team owners, right, not to hire Colin Kaepernick, okay? So what's interesting is that Trump, as president, should not be weighing in on a labor issue. This is a labor issue. Previous presidents would not weigh in on this. This is a labor issue, okay? And Trump is really getting into big trouble when he tweets attacking NFL players. We know September 22nd, 2017, he was in Florida, right near Alabama, campaigning for Judge Roy Moore, who lost, right? Alleged pedophile, Judge Roy Moore. And he said, wouldn't you like to see one of these team owners tell one of these SOBs when they refuse to stand for the national anthem, you're fired, okay? So, okay, let's see, we're breaking up here on Facebook. Can you all hear me on YouTube, okay? Let's see here, just a second. Testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. All right, breaking up on, can you all hear me okay on YouTube? All right, in and out audio on YouTube. Okay, let me refresh the screen. Stand by. Okay, all right, we're back. So you should be able to hear me okay. I don't know what happened. All right, you should be able to hear me okay. All right, so sports.yahoo.com broke this story a few hours ago. Sources, Colin Kaepernick's legal team expected to subpoena President Trump in case against NFL, okay? And then also you have the story from CNN.com. Kaepernick's legal team expected to seek subpoenas for Trump Pence. Kaepernick's legal team expected to seek subpoenas for Trump Pence, right? So after months of circling Donald Trump during NFL depositions and discovery, Colin Kaepernick's lawyers are expected to force Donald Trump directly into the ongoing legal battle between the quarterback and the NFL. Now, Kaepernick's legal team is expected to seek federal subpoenas in the coming weeks to compel testimony from Donald Trump, as well as Vice President Mike Pence and other officials familiar with the president's agenda on protesting NFL players. Sources with knowledge of the quarterback's collusion case against the NFL told Yahoo Sports, all right? And we remember that it was Mike Pence, former governor of the state of Indiana. It was Mike Pence who back in October of 2017 pulled the stunt at the Indianapolis Colts game when they were playing against the San Francisco 49ers. And he went to the, it was October 2017. He went to the game and he left during the national anthem because some players on the San Francisco 49ers team took a knee during the national anthem. Mike Pence said on Twitter at the time that he would not, quote, dignify any event that disrespects our soldiers, our flag, our national anthem, end quote, right? And we know that last month in May of 2018, NFL team owners decided that players must stand during the national anthem for this coming season, a reaction to fierce backlash against some who took a knee in symbolic opposition to what they view as the systemic oppression of people of color, including at the hands of the police. All right. Now, here you have the vice president weighing in on a labor issue. And at the same time, the players are not obligated during 2017 season. They were not obligated basically to stand for the national anthem. It was nothing saying that they could not take a knee during the national anthem. All right. The other thing is they don't get paid to be on they don't get paid right to necessarily be on the field during the national anthem either. This is the other thing. Okay. The league wants them to do it to show patriotism. All right. But they're not obligated to do this. Now, this is changing. Apparently, it appears it's changing for the 2018 season. However, the NFL Players Association, as we talked about, I did a broadcast about this 2 weeks ago. Okay, when I was in, where was I? In New Jersey. The NFL Players Association stated that the league did not consult with them before they made changes. Okay, so the NFL Players Association, their union, said they would investigate these changes to see if it violated the already players agreement. 1, 2, come to find out that Thursday, New York Daily News had an article, come to find out that that was not an official vote that was taken by the owners. Okay, so that's the other thing. So it was revealed. Let's see. Let me see if I can pull that up. It was New York Daily News, and we find out that there was not an official vote taken. So then you have to wonder, well, wait a second, is this rule actually going to be implemented? We still have to see. All right. But one thing is for certain, the president of the United States, and I don't like to refer to Donald Trump as president of the United States. To me, he's an illegitimate president. And you're going to find out exactly why. But the president of the United States should not be weighing in on a labor issue. This is an issue between employer and employees. Okay. New York Daily News, May 25th, 2018. NFL admits there was no official vote on national anthem policy, instead informal show of hands. So then you have to wonder, well, what's going on? And what people are saying is that the NFL is being attacked by Donald Trump, who uses Twitter to attack these teams, attack the owners, okay? which then can harm the viability of the NFL, harm the ratings of the NFL, which ultimately impacts the bottom line. A president should never be involved in attacking a business. Even though the NFL is technically a nonprofit organization, these teams are worth, each one of these teams is worth on average about $1 billion, somewhere around there. Okay. Now here's a quote unquote Republican president. Republicans historically, who are all for free market, would not tolerate a Republican president or a Democratic president weighing in on a labor issue and attacking a multi-billion-dollar industry like the NFL. Only these spineless Republicans, okay, who you have in the House and in the Senate, would let Trump run wild like this. And Trump, mark my words, Trump is the chickens coming home to roost for the Republican Party. Trump is going to lead to the downfall of the Republican Party. Trump is a case of the chickens coming home to roost for the Republican Party. The reason why is because going back to 2012, Trump was the leader of, he was at the forefront of the birther movement, saying President Barack Obama was not born in this country. He was born in Kenya, all this nonsense, okay? And then even when President Barack Obama presented his long-form birth certificate, Trump did not apologize. It wasn't until late in the 2016 campaign that Trump took about 37 seconds to say that President Barack Obama was born in this country, and he still never apologized, right? He led this for 5 years. Republicans did not rein him in. They did not, the Republican leadership did not say, stop it. He's the legitimate president. He was born in this country. Okay. So then most of them didn't want Trump to become president. With the help of Vladimir Putin and Russian intelligence and rampant voter suppression, Trump becomes president. Also with James Comey, 11 days before the 2016 election, November 6, 2018 election, James Comey submits a memo to the Gang of Eight, letting them know that new emails were found on Anthony Weiner's laptop. Okay. And then a couple of days before the election, he says, oh, my bad. These were basically emails we already had. Okay. And what this did was when he came out 11 days before the election, this caused a tightening in the polls and put new wind in Donald Trump's sail. Okay. So then Trump becomes president, allegedly. President through the Electoral College, because he lost the popular vote by 3 million votes to Hillary Clinton. Okay. And now you have 44 Republicans in the House of Representatives who have stated that they're either resigning or not going to run for re-election for various reasons. A lot of this has to do with Trump and trying to run in this atmosphere. And Trump is a case of the chickens coming home to roost for the Republican Party. They're going to lose the House of Representatives and the Senate and ultimately the 2020 presidential election. And Trump will probably be forced to resign from office, just as Richard Nixon, Republican, was forced to resign from office August 9th, 1974. He became the first sitting U.S. president to ever resign from office, August 9th, 1974. Go research that, okay? And if you understand Watergate and the history of Watergate and what happened, you see what's taking place with the Mueller investigation, okay, which started out as a counterterrorism investigation from the FBI because George Papadopoulos was popping off at the mouth to an Australian diplomat. Okay, if you follow that and follow Watergate, you see this is falling right along the way Watergate did. And Richard Nixon was forced to resign from office, even though articles of impeachment were drawn up against Richard Nixon by the Democratic-controlled House of Representatives. The first article of impeachment was obstruction of justice. The second article of impeachment was abuse of power. What does that sound like? History is repeating itself. History is repeating itself, okay? So once again, if we look at Trump, right, so when we look at this article, let me post this here on the thread of the broadcast. NFL admits there was no official vote on national anthem policy, instead informal show of hands. And you had two team owners who abstained from voting. So it wasn't a unanimous vote where all of them voted, as Roger Goodell previously said it was. That wasn't true either. Okay. All right. So let's post this clip here on Facebook and on YouTube. Okay. How's everybody doing? All right. We'll post it here on YouTube and we'll post it here on the thread of the broadcast on Facebook. All right. So, okay, let's continue here. And if you like this type of information, be sure to register for the online courses that I teach. We have them all in a bundle pack. They're all on demand. They include Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school. They also include African-American resistance in the era of Donald Trump, voter suppression, reparations, and how elections have consequences. That's another class I've done. Okay, so we have 10 in the bundle pack. They're all on sale. $60, regularly $130. They're all on demand. Watch at your own pace. Okay, we'll post a link here on YouTube as well. All right. Okay, so if we look at this now, Kaepernick's legal team is expected to seek federal subpoenas in the coming weeks to compel testimony from Donald Trump and Vice President Mike Pence and other officials familiar with the president's agenda on protesting NFL players. Sources with knowledge of the quarterback's collusion case against the NFL told Yahoo Sports. All right. Also, you can visit AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We have the information about the online courses there. And if you like this type of information, you can donate to the African History Network as well. PayPal.me/the AHN show, PayPal.me/the AHN show. Okay. And once again, thanks to everybody for the birthday wishes, because I've gotten over 200 on my personal page on Facebook, Michael Imhotep. All right, so the aim will dive into the administration's political involvement. The aim will dive into the administration's political involvement. The aim will dive. The aim will be to dive into the administration's political involvement with the NFL during Colin Kaepernick's free agency and the league's handling of player protests, sources said. Now, this is after recent disclosures that multiple owners had direct talks with Donald Trump about players kneeling during the national anthem. Okay. The content of those conversations between Donald Trump and owners, as well as any forms of pressure directed at the league by the administration, are expected to shape the requests to force the testimony of Donald Trump, Mike Pence, Vice President Mike Pence, and other affiliated officials, sources said. Now, what happened was there was a meeting that took place a few months ago between team owners. And there were audio recordings that surfaced, right? And so I remember News1.com had an article dealing with this, asking if these new audio recordings were if this was evidence of collusion. Okay, let me see. Is this the article? Okay, there was one from Afro.com, which is the Afro-American newspaper out of Baltimore. Okay, their website is Afro.com. They were established about 1882. About 1882, they were established. And just so people understand, the term Afro-American did not start in the 1960s. That goes back to the 1830s, about 1831. And they were called the Afro-American newspaper, going back to about 1882 when they were founded. So they have an article, Afro.com, April 27th, 2018. News1.com had an article about this as well. Does the secret audio of NFL owners meeting prove Kaepernick's alleged collusion suit? Okay. And in this article, it says a secret audio recording from an October 2017 meeting between NFL owners, executives, and players was revealed by the New York Times. Okay. And this was revealed by the New York Times, April 25th, 2018, 2 months ago. A lot of interesting comments made by some of the league's owners during the meeting were exposed in the New York Times report, causing speculation that the audio recording may have provided the evidence that Colin Kaepernick needs to prove his lawsuit against the NFL for alleged collusion in his apparent exile from the league. Now, if you look at Watergate, and if you look at Richard Nixon, what really brought Nixon down was the Nixon tapes, right? That they had to go to court to sue to get. And on the tapes, Richard Nixon is recorded, right, trying to get the CIA to get the FBI to back off the Watergate investigation. This is how he got tripped up on obstruction of justice. Richard Nixon tried to use the CIA to get the FBI. The FBI was investigating the Watergate break-in and what was surrounding this, right? The break-in of the Democratic headquarters. It wasn't the break-in that was what brought Nixon down. It was the cover-up, the conspiracy. Not collusion, conspiracy. And this is the same thing with Donald John Trump. Collusion is not a legal term. It's conspiracy. It wasn't the crime. It's the cover-up. Elections have consequences, and history is repeating itself. Now, a lot of interesting comments made by some of the league's owners during the meeting were exposed in the New York Times report, causing speculation that the audio recording may have provided the evidence Colin Kaepernick needs to prove his lawsuit against the NFL for alleged collusion in his apparent exile from the league. Now, Kaepernick's attorneys have already deposed most of the owners mentioned in the report in an attempt to put together evidence to support his claim of collusion. The former 49ers quarterback would have to prove that owners came to an agreement not to sign him based on his protest of police brutality against African Americans, okay? None of the statements reported by the New York Times include an owner directly mentioning Kaepernick's name. According to the report, the room went silent when former San Francisco 49ers defensive back Eric Reid, one of the few players invited to participate in the meeting, expressed how he felt Kaepernick was being, quote, hung out to dry, end quote, and left to, quote, become public enemy #1 in this country, and he still doesn't have a job, end quote. Now, this is what Eric Reid in this meeting said directly to the owners, and we know it appears that Eric Reid has also been blackballed. He has not been picked up by a team also. We know Eric Reid was basically the second player to take a knee. He was a teammate of Colin Kaepernick. And you see a lot of photos of Eric Reid kneeling next to Colin Kaepernick during the national anthem. But owners like Bob Kraft of the New England Patriots and owner Bob McNair of the Houston Texans were both quoted directly mentioning their displeasures with players kneeling during the playing of the national anthem in protest, a trend that Colin Kaepernick created. Now, what people fail to realize, and if you read the article, now I've done 2 lectures dealing with Colin Kaepernick. This is my latest one, The Racist History of the White National Anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance. The racist history of the White National Anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance. So I did this September 26, 2017. And I tie all that history into Colin Kaepernick's protest. So I deal with Francis Scott Key, who wrote the national anthem. So all this, to understand all this, and Donald Trump talking about the national anthem, things like this, you have to understand this history. This is what I break down in this presentation. This is a 3-hour presentation. So Francis Scott Key wrote the national anthem September 13th, 1814, during the War of 1812. Donald John Trump doesn't understand the War of 1812 because, as the New York Times reported just yesterday, I think it was, the article we posted on our Facebook fan page, the African History Network, Donald Trump was on a call with the Prime Minister of Canada, okay? And he accused Canada of burning down the White House. What an idiot. It wasn't Canada that burned down the White House. That was Britain during the War of 1812. In 1814, during the War of 1812, Britain burns down the White House. Canada didn't even exist in 1814, dumbass. Canada doesn't come into existence until about 1867. This is who sits at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Total embarrassment. Not only is Donald Trump an embarrassment to white people, he's embarrassment to Americans, period. He's totally ignorant about the Constitution. He's totally ignorant about history, okay? So check this out. This is available at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. The racist history of the white national anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay. Now, the people who are talking about the national anthem, and I deal with this, I deal with the whole history of the national anthem, but I also deal with the U.S. flag code, because Trump says the players should stand proudly for the national anthem. Well, first of all, they have freedom of speech. Ain't nothing saying they got to stand proudly for the national anthem. What are you talking about? Okay, First Amendment right, freedom of speech, 1791, the Bill of Rights. Okay, but the other thing is that when you study the U.S. flag code, so the U.S. flag code was introduced June 14th, I think it was 1923, the U.S. flag code, right? The U.S. flag code dictates, lays out how the flag should be handled, right? Well, white people violate the U.S. flag on a daily basis. When you read the U.S. flag code, it tells you that the flag is never supposed to be used in any type of advertisements. So when you have like Macy's Flag Day sales, when you have different department stores having Flag Day sales, right? That's a direct violation of the U.S. flag code, okay? White people violate the U.S. flag on a daily basis. When you have, it also states, in the U.S. flag code, it states that the flag should never be used as part of garment. It should never be made in the clothing. It should not be made in the hats. It should not be made in the bathing suits. It should not be made in the neckties. It should not be made into any type of clothing, jeans, shirts, things like that. So I was on a flight headed to Louisville, Kentucky, last year, 2017. What was it? October, I think it was. End of September, early October 2017. I was going to Louisville, Kentucky for the All-Black National Convention that Dr. Boyce Watkins does, right? So I have to take a connecting flight getting to Louisville. So I'm on two flights. On both of the flights, you had white pilots. Now, these were very nice white pilots. They got us there safely. But both of them had American flag neckties. They were both, on both flights, they were wearing American flag neckties. That is a direct violation of the U.S. flag code. And most people, most of these white fans who are against Black NFL players taking the knee, silently taking the knee to protest against the oppression of African Americans and people of color, the protest against white supremacy and racism, the protest against police brutality, they will violate the flag on a daily basis and then accuse the players of violating the flag, and taking the knee comes from the military. So Colin Kaepernick decided to take a knee after meeting with Nate Boyer, okay? So if we look at this article, because I got stacks of articles on Colin Kaepernick. I've done 2 presentations, 2 lectures dealing with him. This is the best one right here, okay? Because I tie all that into the history of the national anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance, right? So Nate Boyer was he's a former Green Beret, and he's a former NFL player, okay? So CBS.com has an article, CBSSports.com. They have an article, because I can document what I say, all right? Here's how Nate Boyer, B-O-Y-E-R, go research this. Here's how Nate Boyer got Colin Kaepernick to go from sitting to kneeling. HBO's Real Sports spoke to the former Green Beret. So he had a 90-minute meeting, Nate Boyer, with Colin Kaepernick and Eric Reed. And he basically told him, he suggested kneeling, because kneeling comes from the military. Kneeling is a sign of respect in the military. We sort of came to a middle ground where we would take a knee alongside his teammates, Nate Boyer says. Quote, soldiers take a knee in front of a fallen brother's grave, to show respect. When we're on a patrol, and we go into a security halt, we take a knee and we pull security. Now, if Donald John Trump had actually served in the military, as opposed to getting 5 deferments because he was too much of a coward to serve in Vietnam, he would know this. But Donald John Trump never served in the military. He said his Vietnam was trying to avoid getting STDs in the 1970s. One of the deferments he got was because he claimed to have bone spurs, okay? This is why Senator Tammy Duckworth calls him Cadet Bone Spurs. Now, this the same guy who got 5 deferments because he was too much of a coward to go fight in Vietnam. He wants to then attack NFL players who are trying to get America to live up to its promise, and they're taking the knee, which comes, okay, sound is choppy. All right, just a second, stand by. Facebook, I refresh the screen, should be all right now. All right, so let's continue. Okay, so Senator Tammy Duckworth, who is a war veteran and lost 2 of her legs in the war. She was in, I think, Afghanistan. She calls Trump cadet bone spurs, right? Okay, so, and then you have Trump, who was too much of a coward to go fight in Vietnam, but he then wants to disrespect Senator John McCain, who not only fought in Vietnam, but he was captured, okay, tortured beyond belief, okay, and he's a war hero. Now, I disagree with most of Senator John McCain's politics, but I'm not going to attack his military record. All right, but this is who Trump is. This is who Trump is, right? So when we look at Colin Kaepernick, okay, so Colin Kaepernick, see, now you would think that the people who criticize Kaepernick would say, well, let's find out what the protest is all about so we can correct it. But they don't want to do that. They just want to attack the messenger and shut them up. Now, okay, so I refresh the screen again. Let's see how that is. Okay, so August 28th, 2016. This is 2 days after Colin Kaepernick's protest is recognized. Okay, this was during a preseason game. San Francisco 49ers against the Green Bay Packers. This was the 3rd game in the preseason. Now, he had already been sitting out going back to the 1st game in the preseason, but people really didn't notice this, all right? So Steve Weiss was basically the first one to write an article about this, which was like all 2016, the day after the game. This article is from dailymail.co.uk, August 28th, 2016. August 28th, 2016. Defiant 49er quarterback Colin Kaepernick faces multiple anger as he insists he will continue to sit for the national anthem at NFL games and protests at the oppression of black people. This is from dailymail.co.uk. And Colin Kaepernick said, I'm going to continue to stand with the people that are being oppressed. This was on a Sunday, he said this. He said, to me, this is something that has to change. Colin Kaepernick said, when there is significant change, and I feel like that flag represents what it's supposed to represent, this country is representing people the way it's supposed to, I'll stand. Okay? The anthem controversy, meanwhile, has ignited a racially sensitive national debate over free speech, pitting African American athletes, and the NFL is about 70% African American, pitting African American athletes against white NFL owners. And Trump has seized on the issue. Trump has seized on the issue to energize his political base. Now, the other thing that's important to note is that Trump tried to buy an NFL team back in the 1980s. He was blocked by the owners in buying an NFL team. Okay, so that's when he bought a USFL team. Okay, the New Jersey Generals, and it is a documentary that was on Netflix that talked about the. There was a documentary on Netflix that talked about the USFL. Okay, and why it collapsed. And basically, they talked about how Donald Trump, because he wanted to buy an NFL team and was blocked in buying an NFL team, he had a grievance against the NFL. And the USFL, their season was like season from the NFL, so they did not compete directly with the NFL. He convinced the owners to change when the season was to compete directly with the NFL. They did that for a season, lost a whole lot of money, went out of business, ended up suing the NFL, said the NFL had a monopoly. They won the case and they were awarded something like $1 in damages. right? But that was because of Trump and his ego. Once again, there's a documentary that was on ESPN that talked about this. Okay. All right. So the anthem controversy, meanwhile, has ignited a racially sensitive national debate over free speech, pitting mostly African American athletes against white NFL owners. And Trump has seized on the issue to energize his political base. His political base is largely white, usually older white males. And you have a lot of them who are white supremacists. Not all of them, but a lot of them are white supremacists. Older, who wanted to go back to the way America was before the Civil Rights Act of 64, before the Voting Rights Act of 65. They wanted to make America great again, okay? At a rally in Louisville, Kentucky, last year, Trump switched gears from talking about the nation's urban communities to calling out the quarterback Colin Kaepernick, okay? And where's this article here? It was, quote, Donald Trump said it was reported that NFL owners don't want to pick him up, referring to Colin Kaepernick, because they don't want to get a nasty tweet from Donald Trump. He said, do you believe that? Okay. Trump has also called out the NFL multiple times over the national anthem controversy. Okay, over the national anthem controversy. He canceled the traditional visit to the Super Bowl by the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles this past Tuesday, initially calling that decision, claiming that decision was due to the players not standing for the national anthem, though the White House later acknowledged that the low expected attendance by team members was a key factor. And none of the players on the Philadelphia Eagles during the 2017 season, none of them took a knee during the national anthem. Okay, so there's an article from news1.com that talks about this as well, how Trump just basically lied on them. All right, and let me see. Yeah, article from news1.com about that also. NFL player, okay, no, not that one. Which one is it? Let's pull that one up also from news1.com also, okay. All right, now, Mike Pence, we know Mike Pence pulled that stunt at the game, October 2017, 49ers against the Indianapolis Colts. Colin Kaepernick has not commented on the new NFL protest rules that were revealed last month, but his retweets say a lot. League Commissioner Roger Goodell said teams whose players and personnel do not stand and show respect for the flag and the anthem will be fined by the league. Each team, however, may develop its own work rules for those who do not comply with the policy, which allows players the option of remaining in the locker room during the playing of the national anthem if they do not wish to comply. Okay, so that's the article from, okay, that's the one from CNN.com. Kaepernick's legal team expected to seek subpoenas for Trump Pence. Okay, and we know there was, we know Yahoo Sports basically broke the news of this story earlier today. All right, now there was from news1.com that Trump throws NFL tantrums, lies on Philadelphia Eagles after team boycotts White House visit. Okay, and see, Trump wants to be surrounded by celebrities. He's always wanted to hobnob with celebrities. Okay, and when he's shunned by celebrities, you see, Trump realized he would look stupid standing there with about 10 players from Philadelphia Eagles. None of the stars would have been there, basically. Okay, so to avoid being embarrassed even more so, he canceled their visit and made a big thing about it and then tried to turn it into a celebration of America. All right, news1.com. Trump throws tantrum. Trump throws NFL tantrum, lies on Philadelphia Eagles after team boycotts White House visit. The Super Bowl champions were uninvited by the president, who accused them of kneeling during the season. So this is from Tuesday, June 5th, 2018, news1.com. And it talks about how, let's see, Trump's tantrum over the Eagles boycott also included accusing the players of kneeling during the season, as well as planning to stay in their locker room during the national anthem, as was dictated by the NFL's new policy. However, surprise, the president's stories were false, several public figures said, okay? And come to find out, none of the players were involved in the protest during 2017. None of them took a knee. Okay, so you can check this out and research that. And then you have LeBron James, who just a couple days ago, we know that the NBA finals are going on right now, and we know Cleveland Cavaliers are down 0-3. But LeBron James has again publicly criticized Donald Trump, saying this past Tuesday, June 5th, that neither team in the NBA finals, quote, wants the invite, end quote, to the White House for what was once a customary celebration after a sports title. And Steph Curry of the Golden State Warriors echoed this. He said, you know, I agree with LeBron James. So they're saying the Cleveland Cavaliers superstar was responding to the president's decision to revoke the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles invitation. Okay. And he said, which Trump said was because the players, quote, disagree with their president because he insists they proudly stand for the national anthem, end quote. And LeBron James said, let's see. LeBron James said, I mean, I know no matter who wins this series, no one wants the invite anyway. So it won't be Golden State or Cleveland going, end quote. So here Trump is shunned again by both teams. Neither one want to be there with them, okay? So Trump is a narcissist. He has to be around the celebrities to give himself stature, okay? To make himself seem wanted, to make himself seem desired. This is why he wanted the photo op with Kim Kardashian, okay, who was there, I think it was last week, at the White House, and she advocated on behalf of Alice Marie Johnson to have her sentence commuted, okay? Now, Trump did not give her a pardon. A presidential pardon means that the conviction is wiped off your record. He commuted her sentence, which means he wiped out the rest of her sentence. She was immediately freed, but she still has those felony convictions on her record. Now, she's happy to be free. I'm happy she is free, but he did not give her a pardon. He gave her a commutation. All right. But what's even more important, I'll do another broadcast on this, is what Trump is doing. One, he wanted the photo op. Two, he wanted to be connected with a celebrity like Kim Kardashian. OK. Three, Trump is giving pardons and commutations to high profile figures who have been convicted and are being charged with things that are similar to key people in the Russia investigation. So campaign finance violations is what Denise D'Souza was convicted of. Okay, well, that's something that allegations against Trump are campaign finance violations. When you study Alice Marie Johnson, she was one of the things she was convicted of, not just drug trafficking, but also money laundering. Money laundering is one of the charges against Paul Manafort. Paul Manafort has to go to court Friday because the Mueller investigation uncovered that allegedly Paul Manafort tried to communicate with two witnesses, which could be witness tampering. And when he goes to court on Friday to determine if his bail could be revoked, he may go to prison. He may go to prison awaiting trial, or jail awaiting trial. He may go Friday. One of the charges against Paul Manafort is money laundering. We know his business associate Rick Gates has already turned witness against him. Okay, and if he gets, if Paul Manafort gets his bail revoked, he could flip also and become a witness and try to cut a deal with Mueller as well. All this is horrible for Trump. Trump is looking at giving a pardon to Martha Stewart, who went to prison for insider trading. He's looking at giving a pardon to Blagojevich, who was the governor of Illinois. Okay. And when you look at this, the charges against most of these people he's giving pardons to are similar, if not the same thing, as charges of key people in the Mueller investigation. Okay. And he's trying to send messages. It appears allegedly he's trying to send messages to these key people saying, hey, if you keep your mouth shut, I'm going to give you a presidential pardon. What I guess maybe they haven't figured out is that, one, a presidential pardon does not absolve you from state prosecution. A presidential pardon only wipes out federal charges. You can still be prosecuted by the state's attorney general, number one. Number two, what happens if Trump resigns from office? What happens if Trump resigns from office? Because this is going to be a long investigation. It's not going to wrap up by September. Or like Rudy Giuliani said, the investigation, he thinks is going to wrap up by September. The investigation into Bill Clinton lasted 4 years and 1 month. Where were the people then saying, oh, this investigation should wrap up because of midterm elections? The investigation into Bill Clinton, which led to his impeachment on December 19th, 1998 in the House of Representatives, he was impeached. A trial did take place in the U.S. Senate. The investigation, the Kenneth Starr investigation into Bill Clinton lasted 4 years and 1 month. And the Watergate investigation, that was something like 2 years, I think it was, about a little more than 2 years, something like that. Because Nixon was reelected. Remember, Nixon was reelected in 72. Okay. So this stuff is going to be deep. All right. Okay. So we got this article also from, what is this? From Washington Post. LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry agree. We don't want White House invite. Okay, so now you got some of the greatest players in the game shunning Donald Trump once again. And Donald Trump's fragile ego can't handle this type of stuff. All right. He can't handle this. Now, the other thing about the Trump pardons is that what happens is that Trump pardons people oftentimes when there's a very bad news cycle and he's getting very bad media coverage. So he'll try to pardon people to shift the focus of the media cycle. This is what happened with Alice Johnson. Okay. He was getting beat up in the media. Okay. Paul Manafort, you had the story about Paul Manafort, his former campaign manager, and allegedly involved in witness tampering and contacting two witnesses. You had other things. You had the new developments in the Stormy Daniels case, things like this. So he gives this commutation, not pardon, but commutation. It shifts the news cycle some. You have Rudy Giuliani out a few days ago saying that Trump has the absolute authority to pardon himself, which is ludicrous. Department that was ruled on back United States versus Nixon, okay, back in 73, 74, okay, and you have the policy from the Department of Justice 44 years ago that a president cannot pardon himself because you can't preside over your own trial. Okay, so oftentimes when Trump, when his back is against the wall and he's having a horrible news cycle, a few things that happen. He'll pick on one of three people or all three people. He'll pick on President Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and African Americans. Okay, and then also what he'll try to do is give a pardon, give a pardon to somebody, whether it's Scooter Libby, whether it's Denise D'Souza, whether it's Jack Johnson, who was dead. Jack Johnson died in 1946. See, the other thing is, the only reason why he's given some of these pardons and commutations is because celebrities are advocating for them. He wasn't talking about Jack Johnson before Sylvester Stallone told Donald Trump about Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson died in 1946. Okay. And when you look at Trump's policies, Trump is not really talking about criminal justice reform. He's not serious about criminal justice reform. If he was serious about criminal justice reform, you wouldn't make Attorney General Jeff Sessions, who has no background in criminal justice reform, you wouldn't make him your Attorney General. They reversed policies that President Obama had in place and Attorney General Eric Holder had in place, like smart on crime, policing, and things like this, which was bringing about criminal justice reform. They've reversed that stuff. So Trump, and during the campaign, Trump did not campaign on criminal justice reform. He campaigned on law and order, not criminal justice reform. This is an example of why elections have consequences. All these gains that were made under President Obama, and people really need to read this document because most people haven't read it. And whenever I do my lectures and talk about it, most people have never heard about it, which is why they could play these games on you, and the Russians could take out 3,000 ads on Facebook that hit about 124 to 130 million people, right? And spread these lies because people haven't done the research. So people need to read this document. Progress of the African-American community during the Obama administration. Progress of the African-American community during the Obama administration. Well, where'd you get this from? Whitehouse.gov. What's whitehouse.gov? The official website of the White House. And they have all this information. Whitehouse.gov. It's still there. It's archived there. You can go through and it shows you how policies from President Obama directly positively impacted the African American community. And you can go see most of that stuff has been reversed under Donald Trump. This is how elections have consequences. Okay. All right. So stay tuned to see what's taking place with this. But things are heating up, and see what's stupid about is Trump's tweets attacking Colin Kaepernick, the NFL, okay, things like this. They're going to be used in court against him, just like his tweets have been used against him when it comes to the immigration laws and it comes to the Muslim ban. His tweets are used. He's so stupid, right? He provides evidence against himself, okay? But I mean, this is who you're dealing with. This guy, he just has to tweet. He can't control himself. He's like a 2-year-old. You know, he can't control himself. Okay. All right. So how's everybody doing? Looks like the audio cleared up. You know, it goes in and out. I don't know what the hell's wrong with it. Okay. It's something with, sometimes it's just Facebook, sometimes it's YouTube, sometimes it's Crowdcast. Who knows? Okay. Let's go to some of your comments here on Facebook. Delana said it was Tim Tebow who kneeled in protest of abortion. He actually was praying, but nonetheless, he was kneeling and in protest. That one player can kneel in protest of abortion. Okay, they're talking about Tim Tebow. Renee said pardon himself because he's guilty. Oh, yeah, Trump knows he's going down. Trump knows he's going down. Anthony Sasser said Imhotep is the truth. Renee Lamar, Celine said he craves attention. Absolutely, he craves attention. Okay. We're going to go back to some of your comments. Then we'll go to some of them on YouTube. Hey, be sure to register for the online courses I teach. We have them in a bundle pack. They're 10 in a bundle pack. It's probably the best deal we've had on the courses. We have them on sale, $60, regularly $130. We just posted a link here on Facebook on the thread of the broadcast. It's also at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. So this bundle pack includes ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, understanding the transatlantic slave trade, what they didn't teach in school. That is a 14-hour, 7-session online course that I teach. I deal with thousands of years of history. We deal with the transatlantic slave trade. We deal with the African presence in this country going back at least 51,700 years. We deal with the 800-year occupation of Europe by the Africans known as the Moors. Then the other, these are all on demand. I do a PowerPoint presentation, things like this. Also in the bundle pack, you get African American resistance in the era of Donald Trump, suppression, reparations, and how elections have consequences. Great African women in history, the mothers of civilization, and others as well. Okay. So we posted a link here. and also is at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. All right. Let's see. Yeah, Brandon. Yes, I rebooted the computer before I started the broadcast. Okay, on YouTube, we've got Free Thinker, Eco Affin, True That on both points. Flame said Mike Pence is just as bad. In some ways, Pence is worse. Pence is more mentally stable. But here's the thing: we get rid of Trump, and then we deal with Pence. We get rid of Trump and make Trump an example based upon the law. Then we deal with Pence. But people have to turn out for midterm elections. Midterm elections, November 8th, 2018, are extremely important. Midterm elections. And then November 6th, 2018, I should say, are extremely important. And then after that, then the 2020 presidential election is extremely important. Eco said racism will never end in this country. Yeah, but the question is, what do you do in response to racism and white supremacy? Free Thinker said, thanks for all your hard work. If the country is quick to run into some other land and dictate how their people should be treated. Okay, we got Derek, we got Tatiana. Onks said, could Cap be that dude that brings Trump down? Okay, audio cleared up on YouTube. Can we file a class action on Trump for failing to be president? Tatiana. I'm not sure about that. Not living up to his presidential duties. That would live up to. That would be him not living up to his oath to uphold the Constitution, which would be grounds for Article 2, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution to be brought up to impeachment because of high crimes and misdemeanors. Article 2, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution. Okay. But see, for impeachment to take place, Democrats have to have a majority in the House of Representatives. Okay. It takes 218 votes to impeach a president in the House because there are 435 members in the House of Representatives. Democrats hold about right around 193, 192 seats right now. Midterm elections, that's going to flip, but people have to vote in midterm elections. Okay. All right. And we've got Mika. Okay. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Hey, be sure to visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Thanks for your support. This helps us to stay on the air, keep doing the research. When you purchase our DVDs, when you make donations, this helps us to stay on the air, keep doing the research, pay the bills. Oh, I'll be in Atlanta. I'll be in there because I got to book my ticket to Atlanta. That's another, speaking of bills. I got to book my ticket to Atlanta. I'll be in Atlanta Friday, June 15th through Sunday, June 17th for the Atlanta, the Juneteenth celebration that they have at Morris Brown College in Atlanta. The Juneteenth celebration, okay? So I'll have a vendor table there. I'll be speaking over in the historian's tent. I'll speak on Saturday, June 16th. Don't know what time yet at the event, but it's a free event. They have a huge Juneteenth celebration. Juneteenth commemorates when the enslaved Africans in Galveston, Texas, found out they were free. General Gordon Granger delivered General Order Number 3, letting them know that they were free. Now, this was 2 weeks after the Civil War ended. The Civil War officially ended June 2nd, 1865. Okay, and some people say, well, it was the Emancipation Proclamation that freed the slaves. No, that's not true. We need to stop saying that. For a number of reasons. The Emancipation Proclamation, June 1st, 1863, as we were taught in school, did not free it did not free the enslaved Africans, okay, for a number of reasons. And I'll deal with that at the event also, okay? All right. Okay, so look, we got to get out of here. Hey, remember the African History Network? We focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right knowledge corrects wrong behavior. What you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow other people to do to you and get away with is based upon what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself is based upon what you have been taught about yourself. What you have been taught about yourself is based upon everything you've read, heard, and seen about yourself, okay? Remember, right knowledge corrects wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. Oh, also, I'll be at the in July, the third weekend in July. I'll be back in Atlanta, the Liberated Minds Black Homeschool and Education Expo, because I just talked to Queen Thais today, who's the organizer, and I just confirmed my presentation I'll be doing at the expo. I'll be speaking that Sunday. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'll be a vendor Saturday and Sunday. I'll be speaking on Sunday. It's the third weekend in July. Liberated Minds Black Homeschool and Education Expo. Visit liberatedmindsexpo.com, liberatedmindsexpo.com for more information. And I'll be speaking on, my presentation will be liberatedmindsexpo.com. My presentation will be on lessons from the film Black Panther. Lessons from the film Black Panther, economic guerrilla warfare, political self-defense, and how to Wakanda the vote. Economic guerrilla warfare, political self-defense, and how to Wakanda the vote. I have, 3 presentations dealing with the film Black Panther. That's the second presentation I have. And they're all available at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, if you can't make it there. But if you're interested in finding out about homeschooling your children, you want resources to homeschool your children, you want curriculums and all types of resources, books, things like this, at the Liberated Minds Expo, it happens the third weekend in July. This is the 7th annual one. This is the 6th one I've been to. They have the experts in homeschooling African American children there, especially from an African centered perspective. Okay, so we posted the link here on the thread of the broadcast, liberatedmindsexpo.com. You can check that out for more information. So I'll be there the third weekend in July, and that is what's the date of that? I think it's like July 13th through the 15th or something. July 13th through the 15th, okay? All right, so we got to get out of here. Remember, right knowledge corrects wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. And we'll talk to you next time. Peace. And thanks for the birthday wishes and everything, birthday wishes as well, okay? Because I've gotten over 200 of them on Facebook. All right, thanks. Peace. Talk to you next time.